Just waiting for confirmation that we are live. Not currently getting that confirmation, but let me just try refreshing. Ah, yes. Now it's working. Welcome, or welcome back to the Virtual Y. Chance here with a Monday yoga practice. A great time to just look inward into your body, to use these internal motions, these controls of the bandhas, your internal locks, and the abundant breath, where we're using all these muscles, strengthening the muscles that we breathe with. And when you strengthen those muscles, it makes the process of breathing richly, vitally easier, which leads to more life and a more ease of doing anything. When we exercise the thing that helps the whole system, it has exponential results. So let's start comfortably seated. Relax your shoulders and sit up tall. Maybe your feet are out in front of you. Maybe you have your legs crossed. But however it is, be comfortable. Notice your seat on the ground. Reach up tall through the low back. Root down through the seat, the tailbone. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And start to take some deep breaths. All the way in through the nose, follow the breath down. When you breathe out smoothly, slowly. As the breath comes and goes, really try to find just a little bit more expansion on the inhales and a little bit more control on the exhales. Notice the shape of your lungs, the direction that the breath comes and goes. Does it feel like a lot of work to breathe slowly and completely? And notice whatever's taking place without judgment, because this practice is about observing without reacting. See what happens in your body. See if it's uncomfortable. See where you can, breathe into and explore. And find these sensations in your body without judgment or reaction. Breathe all the way in, breathe all the way out. That's all we have to do for this practice. Everything else is optional. But to deepen this breath and the movement of this breath, we're going to use some internal locks to squeeze and support the spine and draw in on the abdominal organs to strengthen the muscles that hold our organs in place, which in turn helps the organs function more properly, more easily, which increases the vitality of our body. So we're strengthening important muscles. We're strengthening the muscles that make our body work better. So the first lock we're going to be using, the first bandha, is called the Mula Bandha, or the root lock. And this is the same as a Kegel lift, pulling up and in on the soft tissue of the bottom, a lifting of the pelvic floor, pulling up on your bottom until you feel some activation in your low back. Now these muscles might feel a little, weak or neglected. And whatever you find, just lift and release without judgment. Smooth, controlled, just slowly warming up these muscles, no matter how long it's been since you've actively, thoughtfully used these muscles. The next lock is called the upward flying lock, or the Uddiyana Bandha. We lift this by pulling in on the belly button and scooping upward to squeeze the abdominal organs in close to the spine until you feel some activation in your mid to low back. Once you lift this lock as deeply as you can, gently release it smoothly, just like the exhales where we're breathing out very slowly. We're also releasing these locks very slowly. So whatever you notice, whether it's discomfort or a little tension or tightness, notice it and notice how it changes every single time you lift and release. Same with the breath. Every time you breathe in and breathe out, notice what's changing. Because these simple practices are going to make you more aware of your body each time you do it. And say you become distracted and you forget what you're doing, you start thinking about something else, that's totally to be expected. So when you notice yourself elsewhere with your attention, bring your attention back to the simple practice of breathing all the way in and all the way out, and the lifting and releasing of these locks. Very good. So what we'll do now is we'll take our first bit of movement. If you're feeling stiff or you need to adjust, feel free anytime. You can have your legs out in front of you. You can have your legs crossed. But sitting up tall takes a lot of work. So notice, is your low back feeling a little stiff? How does pulling in on those locks feel when you pull in? And that's all we're exercising, is sitting up tall. Now what we'll do is on our inhales, we're going to reach our arms high very slowly, very smoothly. And on our exhales, we're going to lower the hands down. Super simple, but we're going to move gracefully. Inhale, reach the arms high. Find that symmetry, find that control. Exhale, lower the arms down. Just notice where you feel the work. Inhales go up and exhales go down. We're going to do this at least 5 more times, so just take your time. Notice, where do you feel heat? Where does it feel a little tight, a little stiff? Are you still breathing slowly, mindfully, very patiently? And are you observing whatever happens in your body with non-judgment, just observation and acceptance, knowing everything is temporary, even if it's a little uncomfortable. No, you're not going to be here forever. Where can you grow? Where can you adapt? And where can you surrender? One more inhale, we'll reach up. And exhale, lower the arms down. Good. Next, we're going to shrug the shoulders up toward the ears. And exhale, pull the shoulders down and back. Inhale, lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, down and back. We're just moving these very, forgotten intersections. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, shoulders down and back. Let's do this 3 more times. Go slow. Feel what's there. Really use the breath as a spotlight, as a point of focus. Last one. Good. One more shoulder stretch here. We're just gonna give ourselves a big hug. So wrap the right elbow over the left elbow and squeeze yourself in tight. You should feel a pretty deep stretch. on the left elbow here. If this, you feel like you want more intensity, maybe hook the elbows and work to wrap the wrists as well. You can raise your shoulders or your elbows to shoulder height and push your hands away from your face. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Full breaths. Use the bandhas. Step into a little bit of discomfort. Not any pain, not any extreme discomfort, just a manageable amount that you can breathe through. Knowing that this is temporary, we're not going to be here forever. Just one more breath. On your inhale, you can reach the arms wide. And do the second side. So the left elbow wraps around the right elbow. You can give yourself a big hug, squeezing yourself like this. Sit up tall, use the bandhas. Just notice your spine, your shoulders. Keep pulling your shoulders away from your ears. Or if you're looking for more intensity, maybe you could wrap your wrists as well. Raise your elbows to shoulder height and push the hands away from the face. As you sit up tall, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Big, deep breaths. On your next inhale, reach both arms wide. And take any organic movement. See how the shoulders feel different, how any heat or movement or flow is going through the shoulders now. Just notice how you feel. Observation without judgment. Just accepting. This is how my body is in this moment. Notice how every breath, every squeeze, every stretch alerts me or brings more awareness into how my physical state is. And I don't have to feel bad about it. I don't have to, run away from a practice like this. I can just accept that, hey, everybody needs a little work. Everybody is different. And all we can experience is the experience in our body. But getting used to experiencing our body can be a little uncomfortable. So don't judge. Just accept. We're going to take a forward fold next. Straighten out the legs. Root down to the seat. Notice if your low back feels like it's leaned one way or the other. Try to find a nice symmetrical low back. Straighten out the legs. Point the toes back toward the face. Relax the shoulders. Take a big breath in here. And on your exhale, gently lean your heart towards your knees. If it feels good for you, maybe take a few breaths lifting up on your inhale, lengthening the low back, lifting the chest, and on your exhale, folding forward. You can do that for a few breaths if that feels good to you. Sometimes the movement allows stuff to move out of the way a little easier. But after a few breaths of gentle movement, we're going to settle in, folded forward. Now, you don't have to be able to reach your toes. Maybe you only reach your knees. Maybe your hands are on the ground just supporting you so it doesn't get too intense. Remember, extreme discomfort or pain, that means you're pushing it too far. And we don't want this to be something you don't enjoy. We want this to be a practice where you can explore the edge of your comfort zone without leaving your comfort zone. You can expand your comfort zone from being within it. But the presence of a little discomfort is good because we can breathe through it All the way in, all the way out. Pump those bandhas, lifting from the pelvic floor, lifting from the belly button. And we notice that every cycle of breath might let go of what we're holding on to. Just a couple more breaths, all the way in and all the way out. Feel down into your belly, use the pelvic floor. On your next inhale will slowly come up. Very good. Next, let's lower down onto our back. Take a very soothing, relaxing series here, finding the edge of your comfort zone without ever pushing it to the point of pain. You just want to find a little discomfort so you can observe how every breath actually changes your body. First, let's plant both heels down onto the ground. You can plant your hands onto the ground too. Lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders away from the ears. Big, deep breath. Let's cross the right ankle over the left knee. An option to use your left hand to pull the left knee toward the body. Also, another option is to flex your right foot so the toes on the right foot point back toward the shin. If you feel some traction on that outer right hip, bring your attention back to your breath. How can you expand from the belly up? And how can you also pull in on the pelvic floor and in on the belly button? You feel how the ground tractions the spine. How every inhale kind of creates a little bit more pressure, a little bit more squeeze. And every exhale relieves some of that pressure. Just take one more breath here. Uncross the legs. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Pull the right knee toward the body if that feels good. Flex the left foot. Lengthen the spine. Full breaths, bandhas engaged. And uncross the legs. A little spine strengthener here, a pose that you should do every day just to strengthen the low back, another very important area of the body that when it's strong and capable, it prevents so many different types of injury. The majority of Americans complain about low back pain. Let this be the pose that strengthens you out of chronic low back pain. It's called Setu Bandhasa Sarvangasana. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. It's Bandha's pose. So we're using those bandhas, but first we ground down through the heels and the arches of the feet. Lift the hips, roll the knees towards each other, pull in on that pelvic floor, tuck the chin, press the back of the neck into the ground, breathe into the belly to feel that action in the low back. And by rolling those knees towards each other, you feel it even more in the low back. Pull your heart towards your chin and breathe for 3 to 5 breaths. Relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And gently lower your hips down to the ground. When you're ready, rock the knees from side to side. You can bring the feet up over the head or over the hips. Take any organic movement. Keep your spine pressed to the ground. Keep your shoulder blades pressed to the ground and maybe a tuck in the chin. Take any organic movement in the legs. Keep breathing. All the way down to the base of the spine. All the way out. Hug the knees into the chest. Squeeze yourself in tight. You can bring your knees over to the left side of the body. Bring your right hand out to the right side of the body. Pin your right shoulder blade to the mat. Point your chin toward the right hand. Bring your knees over to the right. Left hand out to the left. Left shoulder blade to the mat. Chin toward the left hand. Deep breaths. And come down onto your back. Relax everything. Let your feet fall outward, arms wide, legs wide. Maybe a nice cushion or something underneath your knees to allow more of your low back onto the ground. Let's just take 10 full deep breaths. All the way in, all the way out. Try to feel and experience wherever that breath goes. And whatever that breath finds, we accept and let go of anything that doesn't serve us. All the way in and all the way out. 7 more breaths. Three more breaths. Keep relaxing the body wherever you can. Hug your knees into your chest. Squeeze yourself in tight. One more big breath here. Roll down onto your side. Another big breath here. And return to comfortably seated. Just notice where in your body feels new, different. Maybe you feel a little tight and tense still. All is okay. With non-judgment, we check in on our body. We get stuff moving around. We get a full, honest look at our body. And we might need a lot more work to feel all the way comfortable. But when your mind is comfortable seeing what is, without judgment, throughout the lens of right or wrong, we can just get the truth. And our body has an entire story to tell that the story in our mind has ignored. Most definitely. We spend so much time in our mind that we're rarely embodied. So bringing your attention back to the here and now, that's all this practice is. And no matter what you find, it's going to be beneficial because an honest look inward is always bringing you closer to the truth. Thanks a lot. If you got any questions, feel free to write to me, chanceconnected@gmail.com. I always appreciate you. Take care.